Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in again with us as we go through the book of Isaiah, chapter 58. We're continuing our 21-day fast here in the month of January, and we want to walk through the Isaiah 58 and look at how God interacted with Israel when it came to fasting, because there were some things that they were doing that were not pleasing, and then God gave them instruction on how they could fast that was pleasing to him. And so let's look at verses 3, 4, and 5. He says, "Why have we fasted and you see it not? Why have we humbled ourselves and you take no knowledge of it? Behold, in the day of your fast, you seek your own pleasure and oppress all your workers." So basically, they were not changing their schedule to go after the Lord during their time of fasting. They kept on business as usual. There really wasn't a time set aside for them to seek after the Lord, to go after the heart of God, for them to be changed on the inside. And so the Lord says, you're continuing to do everything as you did before. And they needed to take time. And that's our lesson here, is to make sure we're taking time each day to go after the Lord while we fast. Verse 4, "Behold, you fast only to quarrel and to fight and to hit with a wicked fist. Fasting like yours this day will not make your voice to be heard on high." Why were they fighting and quarreling and hitting? Because they were hungry and because they were agitated, and the comfort of food had been taken away from them through fasting, and they were left with just this raw, sinful nature. And because they were not fasting in a way that was changing the inside, it was still this sinful nature that got agitated, got irritated. And when they rubbed each other the wrong way, they started fighting. And so he says, this isn't the fast that makes your voice heard on high, which is encouraging to us, because if they were fasting in a way that was not making their voice heard on high, it means we can fast in a way that will make our voice heard on high. And God will give them instruction on that later. Lastly, in verse 5, "Is such the fast that I choose, a day for a person to humble himself? Is it to bow down his head like a reed and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Will you call this a fast and a day acceptable to the Lord?" If you notice what the Lord says there in verse 5, almost every one of those things are external practices, things you do on the outside, bowing your head like a reed, sackcloth, ashes. Don't miss what the Lord wants to do internally. And when he starts naming a fast that pleases him, he starts naming things that happen on the inside. Go after the Lord during your fast. Make sure you set aside time to really fast and pray and seek the Lord and ask him to change you inwardly, and that will work its way outwardly. Thank you guys so much for joining in, and we'll check back in with you later.